welcome to Best of 3 an Esports podcast by Organized Gaming. I'm Mike, and of course, I'm joined by Alex, the KrispyKim donut himself. Alex, how you doing?
Not bad. It's been a long day.
It's been a long day. It's been a long couple of weeks.
Yeah,
buddy, how are you holding up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting real tired of staying home, to be honest.
Really? Oh, have you been just like completely on lockdown? Because you're in lockdown
Toronto
central right now.
Yeah, definitely. Also, our office and Waves Gaming, there is which will be unnamed, film being shot there. So unfortunately, we have no office space either. So I'm just stuck at home.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, that sucks. But you know what? At least we can connect you virtually to not only me, the nice little boy over on the other side, but also
the people.
our
and
good buddy
JCor.
Justin. Justin, how are you doing today, JCor?
All right, buddy.
What's up, man?
How are you guys doing?
I'm loving your background here.
We're going crazy. I just called myself a boy on the other side. So
I'm glad we're not taking shots at the background that I fully discussed. I was embarrassed about it, but that's cool. Thanks, Alex. You're the best.
No, I didn't want to point that out or anything. Make it weird.
You're the best. This is why you're a professional and a scholar.
the second we got on video chat, Justin was like, wow, this is further zoomed out than I thought it was.
I cropped so much for my streams, like these 7 streams that I've done. Oh man.
7 streams?
It's just this.
You've only done 7 streams?
No, I think I have more than that, but like
He's lying.
For the amount of equipment.
He exaggerated.
All right. Okay, we're maybe at like 15, but the point is, it's like my social media. I'm trying, okay?
Right? It's like everybody's social media. We're trying.
And failing miserably.
And then there are people who just kind of come out of nowhere, not having tried at all, and they're sitting at like, 2 million numbers.
Yeah. The zeros, many zeros.
Exactly.
I'm proud of my 200 followers.
I love my 200 followers.
I know. You know what?
They're
the
my
only
friends.
people I need.
Exactly.
They're the day ones. They're the ones that matter.
I've been on day 1 for a long time. When does day 2 happen?
Honestly, I'm so excited for it. 201 people. Oh, baby.
Oh, hold up. I need to actually check if I.
Oh, man.
Oh, there you go. All right. There's number 201. All right. So we've got JCor in the house. JCor, tell everyone about yourself. Who are you? Who the hell are you?
Well, I am JCor. I am one of the co-founders of Shattered Dreams Esports.
Yes.
We've been established for over 2.5 years now. And we are actually making really big moves behind the scenes. We just got bought out by YDX Innovations.
Very nice.
So that's super exciting.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait for that to happen. So I don't know how much I'm allowed to reveal, but I'm so excited.
You're one of the founders. You can reveal whatever you want.
See, you say that, but then the other founder comes after me and is very unhappy with the way I talk.
Why did you say that?
You're not supposed to say that yet. There was a secret. And it's like, oh, crap. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm convinced I'm going to be the leak, so I have to like tailor everything back a little bit.
We're going to get like 80% of the truth today.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you get.
So we've met with the other founder, Chris Lama, quite a bit, and our viewers, listeners are familiar with Shattered Dreams, I would hope.
Our listeners are also familiar with YDX Innovations. We've also met with them on this
episode.
podcast. Yeah,
it's getting a little incestuous in here, so.
Oh, don't call it that.
Is that why you had me on?
Oh, no.
Oh. All right, so
we've successfully
that was my
created
first and last
podcast.
For those that don't know, tell the people what SXD is. Who are you guys?
We are Shattered Dreams Esports. We have been in the esports industry for 2.5 years, like I said. We initially started as kind of a grassroots org. We wanted to bring as much attention to local talent as we could. And it slowly developed into what we wanted to do is become the AHL, or excuse me, the OHL of Canadian esports. So for people who aren't aware, it's like we want to be the Toronto Marlies of the Toronto Maple Leafs, but instead of just for one team, we wanted to do it for all of Canadian esports. And
so
then
development team.
Yeah, exactly. We were a development team, and we really wanted to push that grassroots development. Like you work and you get the reward, right? And we really have been pushing that, and it's now paying off a lot for us and for our players as well. We have
you guys have had quite a few success stories as well.
Yeah, we've had quite a few. I mean, it started with like Yusuf, and we had Nicole, who is now massive on Facebook gaming.
Both of them, yeah.
We've had a couple of them. We've had Corlevic pass through. We're hoping that we might be able to get him back one day because we loved having him on the team.
I love Corlevic.
I mean, who doesn't? The kid's fantastic.
Right.
And he's becoming quite the caster from what I've seen.
Yes.
Yeah.
I watched that, what was it? Basement. Who set up that tournament recently?
It was M Gamer.
Much Incendium did it. Oh, what a game. First of all, he's so fun to listen to. I was so jealous. I'm like, I casted the semis. Why am I not good enough? Like, I get I'm just like, I'm a very, very part-time semi-amateur caster. But I'm like, I thought I did a decent job. Like, am I already replaced? Then I go watch, it's Corlevic. I'm like, someone
Makes
who knows what
sense.
they're doing.
Got it.
And I feel so bad after that, but still, de-seated by someone half your age kind of hurts.
Oh, it's okay. That's the way it's going these days. Got to make make room for the youngins.
Well, so with SXD though, like back when it started, looks a lot different compared to where it is now. So give me like one of those memes of like where we were and how it's going.
Oh, I wish I had the t-shirt next to me.
You have a t-shirt for it?
Oh yeah, we didn't even have jerseys when we first started. We had white t-shirts with the giant X that had like broken glass in it and the S and P on either side. That amazingly terrible logo that Chris made. That I'm like, this should be our logo forever. I don't even care. But it was, we had 4 Fortnite players that were at the top of Ontario at the time. And so Fortnite was massive. Like it was the game when we came into it. So we started there and we kind of slowly started branching out. We brought in Piggy Longlegs for NHL. And then we had, from there, I actually started to build the Apex team. And because we had a major CSGO tournament in Montreal. And then Alex came with us just because.
Yeah, that was fun.
The week. Yeah. And that was the weekend Apex was released. And we were sitting there at like 3 a.m. watching streamers play. And I was trying to explain to you, like, you got to do this if you want to be good at comp. You can't do this. And you're just like, oh, yeah, okay.
The first day the game comes out, I know everything.
Yeah, I was just like, you got to be on this. I'm so full of, so full of intelligence. That's what we'll call it.
That's it.
That's what it is.
Yeah, but it started as something. It was just me and Chris at Tim's, right? Like, let's just see how this goes. Like, we were going to start a hockey.
The start of every Canadian business.
Literally has to start at Tim Hortons, or else you're in America somewhere. We know.
Correct.
Okay. Every idea starts at Tim's. Ask Crosby.
And every kiss begins with K. Please continue.
What?
But yeah, so
Alex hasn't heard the slogan.
I was gonna say he looks so confused by that.
I was like, I've never heard that slogan. Okay.
This guy never listened to the radio.
Yeah,
okay,
really. Watch TV.
This is what you.
I don't have
spoiled.
any of
like
those
you never
things.
had like a terrible day job where you had to go to work and listen to the like 103.5 for 19 straight hours.
Can't say that I have.
No. See, me and Mike, we've been down in the dirt. All right,
Been in the dirt.
We grinded our way to the top.
Listening to daytime radio.
It's how terrible it was.
Yeah.
Anyways. But yeah, so from
where are
we
you
had an
now?
Apex team. Yeah, from where we are now is we are in the process of becoming a tier 2 and tier 1 org.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a massive change for us. We've kind of split into 2 entities now. So we have Shattered Dreams, doesn't exist. It is being remodeled, if you will. I can't say much more than that.
Remodeling. Okay.
Remodeling, yes. And then we will also be starting the Academy team, which will be Northern Shield. So that is something I'm really excited about as well, because we are now becoming like the full package, right? We have a farm team, we have the pro team. We can spend your time on the farm team getting better, honing your skills, whether it's content creation, whether you want to be a pro gamer of any sort. This is like the first place you want to go. And then from there, you're like first pickings into the main team, right?
Right.
So this is like the general idea we're going to be going with. And we're really hoping to kind of make a massive impact in 2021.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's something that we've been talking about for a long time. And I initially thought of this as a joke, but it just has its legs are so strong that I just need to run with this. The farmers market is just so like ripe for everybody right now, for everybody in SXD or for everybody in Northern Shield. Because like the one thing that everybody has been missing is this path to pro.
Mhm.
You know, and that's more or less what this is. That's
You
incredible.
guys saw, I don't know, I feel like you guys really saw into the future with that one. And
Yeah.
we're like, this is what's required. And a lot of the pro orgs right now, like they all have academy teams. They're all looking at development leagues and they're all looking at these things and starting to develop them. But you guys had that vision from the get-go. So
Yeah.
It really helped that both of us come from traditional sports. So we both played hockey. He played baseball. I played soccer and lacrosse and everything. So that whole camaraderie, that team sport aspect, and just because, and even things like House League, for example, you
Right.
can go play Timbits hockey right now at 4 years old, but you can't do anything video game esports related until you just suddenly do it. There's
Yeah.
no real age range.
Until you stumble upon it.
range. Oh my.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Until you stumble on it. So we want it to be that first stepping stone. We want someone to be able to go, okay, I can start here and I can actually build my brand, my legacy, if you will, starting here. And that's what we want it to be. We saw, like you said, we saw a massive hole that there was no one doing anything like it. And we really wanted to be the first ones to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, what kind of games are you is your team focusing on?
In the next, over the next year, we're focusing on 6 main games.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at R6.
Mhm.
We're
Okay.
going to be doing a lot in the R6 division. We have a lot in mind for there, actually. I can't go into too much detail, but I'm really, really excited about R6. Like there are
Watch
some
the R6 ones. Yeah.
legitimately, like when we can finally start announcing things, I will be so thrilled. But
Mm.
Well, I think
R6
your R6 team hit, you guys got bronze. Is that right? In the Upsurge
yes,
League?
in Upsurge League, that they're actually going to become our academy team because we're going to be
Nice.
looking into getting a pro team as well as keeping them as the academy team. So, you know, first pickings for them. They've been grinding really hard. We don't want to like lose them. They got the really good group of guys. This is their opportunity, and we want to keep giving them that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's some other things going on in R6 I don't want to touch on yet. Valorant, same idea. We have
Ooh.
real big plans for Valorant because the Riot just made that huge announcement. So 2021 is going to be crazy for Valorant.
Right.
Then we'll be looking, we have our Smash players. We have a couple minor games like Smash, NHL. We have FIFA. We might be getting back into Fortnite. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not really sold on it. The scene's looking a little at the
Little
moment.
sus.
It's crazy, that poor scene. But yeah, with a couple other games, you know, like I said, I want Kostelix back. If I could get Kostelix back on the team, I would be so happy. I can't even emphasize that.
Sure.
Get back into Brawlhalla. Yeah.
That's it, man. He was our introduction to Brawlhalla, and since then we have just been dying to get back in.
Oh, it's such a fun game too.
The game
It
is so
is.
much fun.
Oh
The
my
community
goodness.
is awesome. Like everything from top to bottom about that game is awesome. The developers care about it. There's constant updates, you know. The community's awesome. He himself was fantastic to have on the team. Like just
Yeah.
that whole scene is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, then we have like the more obvious ones like our CS:GO team.
Yeah.
We have
Right.
our CS:GO team has so much potential. I'm so excited for this team because they have this real 0 to hero potential, because I believe it was 2 years ago they didn't even exist as a team, let alone
Right.
playing the game. Like I think 2 of them weren't even playing. They have like families and stuff. So to come into a game you barely play or just play for fun, take it seriously, and 2 years later you're in tier 2. That alone is crazy.
Mhm.
Well, I
For-
think you can attribute some of that to Steven too.
Oh,
King Long.
absolutely.
Yeah. Like his
Like,
coaching's been incredible.
He is fantastic as a manager, as a coach, and analyst. Like he does everything. He is like, shout out to King Long because he does everything in the CS:GO scene in Ontario. So
Mm.
so having him on our team has been massively beneficial for us. He's been amazing since we've had him, and he was the first person we had, first manager on the team. So he's been with us since the
around
beginning.
a while. Yeah.
Wow.
We went to Montreal for CS:GO, and he was running the team at that point.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm really hoping that they can make it into tier 2, because by 2022, I believe the end of it. So I know it's 2 years from now or a year and a half from now or whatever, but they could be in tier 1. So
Right.
for a team to not exist and go to tier 1 in 4 years in a game as established as CS:GO,
Right.
like that is just incredible.
Yeah.
It's
That is
it's
just
a
an
lot
extra-
of old
Yeah.
heads in that game, like people who have been playing for a long time. who
Exactly. And for
really
you,
have everything dialed in. Yeah.
and for like, like the tier 2 for CS:GO is basically like the tier 1 for half the other esports. Like the competitive level is insane for that game.
Yeah, definitely.
So again, I'm really hopeful for them. I believe in Steven. I believe in them because I've watched a bunch of their games. Incredible. Like they're one of those teams when they're on, they are on, man. So yeah, with a bunch of other games we're getting into, but those are like the main ones we're really focusing on. And yeah, I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
2021 is going to be big.
I'm
Give
excited.
us the reveal. Give us the
Reveal
reveal.
all your leaks.
I
Leak
can't.
all over the pot.
If you stick Chris next to me, I'll be okay because then he'll just be like,
Just be like,
I'll be-
stop.
yeah, just like, no, you weren't supposed to say that.
Wheel you out.
Why do you think we had you on the show instead of him? No, I'm just kidding.
You just press me for information.
It's an interrogation, actually. We just filmed
Exactly.
it.
It's working. You're already breaking me.
But no, instead of leaks, we have Justin on
Yeah.
the podcast to talk about Smash. Because
Yep.
folks, it's, oh my goodness, there's some
it's
stuff
bad
going
out
on in
there.
Smash. It's okay. It's weird because it's bad, but also like, oops, they just dropped some straight fire. But it's like, oh,
This
aw.
seems to be more
goodwill
of,
has gone
they
up a
didn't
little
drop
bit.
the fire so much as light themselves on fire and be like, I can't believe this happened.
That's fair. Yeah.
Like this has just been, no one can understand the thought process.
No.
Like everything that's been happening recently, we had the massive issues 6 months ago where a bunch of those misconducts were brought to light.
Yeah.
And as terrible as it was, it's also really good that it happened, because as soon
Really
as
good
one
that things were
person
brought to
opens the
light,
door,
yeah.
the floodgates kind of happen.
Yeah,
And at that point,
right.
it was the big purging, right? I'm all for that. Like, get rid of the bad, bring in the new, bring in the good, whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
the scene has been, in a sense, recovering from that, right? And it's
Yeah.
been doing pretty good, but, we're still in COVID times. Everyone's still in lockdown. It's a nightmare for...
Yeah, recovery has been slow. Like it's because of the pandemic too. Sometimes it feels like, Melee dropped off a lot. Not just
Yep.
Melee, but Smash in general.
Sometimes
It feels like it
Melee
dropped off
the
like
face of the
yeah,
earth. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's in part to what Nintendo's been doing.
Correct. And we're going to talk all about what Nintendo's been doing after the break. So stick around. We'll be right back to get into what's going on with Nintendo.
Kiss is always spelled with a K. I was like, wait, what?
Oh my God.
Great. The
Like,
fact
what
that
is
you
that?
had no idea.
Welcome back to the podcast. You just said a kid. What was the phrase that you just said? A
Kiss always starts with a K.
a kiss always starts with a K.
Yes.
A kiss always starts with a K.
It just rolls off the tongue.
yeah.
Is that the saying?
No.
No.
Oh, what was the saying?
Every kiss begins with K. It's a diamond commercial. Like K is a jeweler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That.
Oh, jewelry, diamonds. Yeah, he suddenly tunes back in.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
I
Yeah,
know diamonds.
All right, let's talk Smash, folks. Let's talk Smash.
Yes.
Hashtag free melee is a term right now that people are using. Hashtag save Smash. By proxy, hashtag free Splatoon. Who wants to get into this mess of a jungle we've got here?
Oh my goodness.
So,
Where to start?
I guess you have to start from the cease and desist.
Yeah.
then
Start
how-
with the cease and desist.
And then kind of like give you the history of why this matters. Okay, so I believe it was about a week or so ago, not even. Nintendo gave a cease and desist to the Big House, which is a premier event for Smash, especially Melee. It's one of the biggest Melee events of the year. And the reason why they did this was because of COVID and we can't have LANs. The big house decided they were going to do Melee online. Now, for anyone who isn't aware, Melee, Super Smash Bros. Melee is a 17-year-old game.
It is not made for online.
It came out a generation before online was a thing. So naturally, there's no way to play with a GameCube or anything like that. But there was a program known as Slippy, and it's a fan-made program that was essentially made for Melee to play online. It also included a couple of other like modern day features. There's rollback netcode, integrated online matchmaking, and some other things. But pretty much it just modernized Melee.
So that you could play it competitively.
Yeah. You could play competitively online. That was the big thing, is you just brought Melee online. That was just huge to the scene.
To Nintendo's credit, that game aged wonderfully.
Oh,
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's like, but at the same time, that poor scene would not have aged if it wasn't for the persistence of its
correct
of the people in it. Right?
Stubborn community. Yeah.
From top to bottom, if they weren't exactly as stubborn as they were, Melee wouldn't exist anymore.
There are
we
good,
wouldn't even know
four
about this.
people that if they stopped playing, the game would be
pretty
done.
much.
Yeah.
The fact that Zane just picked up the game 2 years ago, and then by I believe 8 months ago he was ranked #1 in the world.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's like what? That is
it can
just
still
like CS:GO
happen.
unheard of.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Like, people are like, yeah, it's not offline. He's still destroying people online. Like, it's incredible that like just because Melee's been alive for as long as it has, we got a brand new god in the game.
Right.
Who never would have existed had Melee been stopped in 2013, 2015, 2006, 2000, like the myriad of times Nintendo has gone after this community.
Right. And that's indicative of like just esports in general. Back when you didn't have online, you had a very small community of people in different pockets here and there who were really, really good at the game. This community of people who keep on playing it just happen to also be the people who go to these conventions and compete in these conventions and keep the interest going at all of these places. Versus now the online games where you have people all over the world competing. You've got new talent like popping up every other day that like you're never safe on the throne with all of these online tournaments or online games.
Yeah.
So to see that in Melee is just so cool because you see it in Ultimate. You see people come out, all the time who are amazing in Ultimate.
But
the difference between online and LAN.
Yeah. And the fact
keeps
that
the game
is
healthy.
Still going, it's like, for being as old as it is, it's given us generations of top tier players.
Yeah.
So Melee, they have an incredibly hardcore fan base, definitely.
To say the least.
Yes.
They are a very committed fan base. So
now,
much so that, before we jump into that, Nintendo tried to shut down EVO 2013 when Melee made it to EVO 2013. Yes. This was like the biggest scandal in Smash history. Before 6 months ago.
So EVO is pretty much the world championships of fighting games.
It is
all the fighting games. That's what you want to win.
And people wanted it there for so long.
Oh yeah. And then they only got in. What was crazy is they only got in because they won a charity fighting game or a competitive fundraiser.
Right.
Where they raised $100K for charity and it beat out the other game, which only made like $78K or something like that. And it was some crazy popular game at the time. I can't remember what it was. But the 13-year-old game or whatever it was at that point beat out it beat out a massive game.
Yep.
And then it was in, and we had EVO 2013, and Nintendo tried to block it there because they, for whatever reason, they didn't want their game being shown on stream. And because of because of the rabid fan base, they just hounded Nintendo until they got it back. But that's exactly what I said before. It just shows it's a testament to the players and the community, not Nintendo, for the longevity of the
Nintendo.
Game. And so we should really talk about the cease and desist. But
Slippy, they're trying to do it again.
By the way,
do it again.
They did very successfully.
I'm sure that this is going to bother you if you don't know this. So number 2 is Skullgirls that it beat out.
Right, Skullgirls.
That's right.
It was Skullgirls.
Did
Yeah,
that game
Smash raised
anything?
about 100K. Skullgirls raised about 80.
Oh, see,
Ooh, yeah.
I remember that. That I wasn't even paying attention to the scene at that point. I remember Melee doing that. I thought it was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the other things that it beat out, sorry, just real quick.
Oh, please.
Also beat out Street Fighter 2 Turbo, also beat out Dead or Alive 5, also beat out Guilty Gear, Melty Blood, Dive Kick, Virtual Fighter, Soul Calibur 5.
Right.
Like, it was beating
Thank
out.
God that
games
didn't
left,
make
right,
it.
and center. Oh, yeah. No.
Not a fan of Soul Calibur 5?
Oh my God. Soul Caliburs were just like so depressing of a series.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, like Tekken might be the only 3D fighter worth playing. I might get roasted for that, but like,
Uh-oh.
I'm on board with you. Tekken's awesome.
Double uh-oh.
Listen, you get 2D, you have Mortal Kombat. 3D, you have Tekken. Smash. Okay,
I would never take Mortal Kombat over Street Fighter, but I mean, it's
okay. That is a different podcast in itself.
all right.
Hold
on to that.
Blasphemous.
So Nintendo sends a cease and desist to the Big House.
Yes.
The Big House is one of the largest Smash tournaments that happens on a yearly basis. I think they've been running since like 2011, so it's been a solid like 9 big houses already.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's just a premier event, and they decided to take it online, use Slippy, and Nintendo decided to send them a C&D.
Yes, to protect their intellectual property.
Yes.
Which is the most give me my ball, I'm going home nonsense I've ever heard.
Right.
But like, it's because their argument is you're using a modified ROM of the original disc, right? Because what Slippy runs on is not Melee, but version 1.0.2. So pretty much people added in like 1 or 2 things to fix like tech that was broken back in the day, like the universal controller fix, I believe that's what it's called. So like, because this is kind of a bit of a side note, but back in the day, GameCube controllers did not function the same. So what would happen is a certain batch of colors would work differently from one. A certain, like, if they were made at a certain time would work differently. It was, you had to, like, it was, this is what I'm not, like, 2-tone controllers weren't were good. Single color controllers weren't working at a certain year. If you bought it this time, it was like, had a half-second delay or something. It had a ton of nonsense. Yeah, like your face right now. I didn't even know this until about a year or 2 ago. This is why they added the universal controller fix, because GameCube controllers were not consistent at all. No 2 controllers were similar, which is insane.
Okay, so they added that fix.
Yeah.
They added some netcode, and
so that's why you can't call it 0.0.0. You have to say that there's a version update, and that's where Nintendo's like, well, you're using a modified version of the game. IP
that also,
protection.
I mean, the players are also not purchasing the game to play. These are free sort of bootleg versions, right? So
right, the whole rule of ROMs is you're not supposed to download a ROM unless you own the game, right?
Right.
That's the
I think
trade-off.
that's the unwritten rule of ROMs.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
But
it's still not legal, but I mean, I'm not against ROMs at all by saying that. I'm just saying that is the legality.
But that is the legality. If you don't own the game, you can't have the ROM. And because Slippy runs off a certain very specific ISO, like you have to go get it online somewhere. Nintendo said no. So that in turn was a massive hit to the community because Melee can't survive without LANs.
Right.
You're taking away its only lifeline of online, and now we can't go to LANs. We can't go do face-to-face offline matches anymore. We don't know when that'll come back. And if the Melee scene can even survive the time off. That's the biggest concern.
It's a huge dagger, honestly.
It is. It's a massive, like the fact that I think Summit actually went off without a hitch is incredible. Because they set the cease and desist in the middle of Summit. So that's why people were concerned that Summit was going to get canceled halfway through the tournament.
But I guess they allowed that to go on.
Well, they're so generous.
I mean,
it was so popular too that like even Hungrybox, who ended up winning, correct?
No, I think Mango won.
Mango won. So Hungrybox went out and like actively called out Nintendo during their own summit, being like, "Hey, don't be doing this to our game.
Except he
Yeah.
kind of did it in the most gamer way. He's like, "Hey, you suck."
Oh.
We're like, "No, if you were serious, make a point. Like, you actually got the mic. You won the whole tournament." But then you do it like that. No wonder they don't take you seriously, right? Like,
Yeah.
but again,
Okay. So, okay, let's move on to how did Splatoon get roped into all of this? There's also a free Splatoon hashtag going around. What's with that?
Okay, so what happened was over the weekend we had the NA Opens for Splatoon 2. And what ended up happening was out of the top 10 teams, 3 or 4 of them had freemelee, savesmash as their actual team names.
Yeah.
And Nintendo,
I think it was like 30% of the teams had names supporting
of the top teams, which ended
yeah.
up which were like top 10, top 12. So it was like 3-4 teams pretty much.
Yeah, sure.
And then so Nintendo, instead of being normal and ignoring it, canceled the whole stream. So they like the most mind-blowingly petty thing you can do
to their own stream,
to what they describe as their number one esport. If you remember the Switch commercial, they had a giant like esports arena, big shindig and everything for Splatoon. And this is what they do to their biggest esport.
Yeah,
so it's crazy. Like, it just shows that they don't care about their communities at all.
Well, what I think is stupid is it feels like Smash has a community, and obviously Nintendo wants that free marketing. They want people talking about it. Mm-hmm. They want people hyping up their game and keeping it relevant and all that stuff. And I feel like they know they're going to get that from Smash. And then with Splatoon or ARMS or whatever it is that needs that extra help, they're like, "Oh, we're here." Yeah, like whatever it may be, right? Like ARMS, Splatoon, whatever, like the ones that aren't so big, they have to support it and they have to push it and whatever. But they're really just like leaving Smash out to dry. Like,
but like to cancel a major stream for your biggest game, allegedly, according to you, because teams were supporting a different community. That's insane. For $1 billion corporation to be so unbelievably petty is crazy. I personally don't get the thought process, because they've been on a cease and desist spree for the last week as well. Like it didn't even stop with Splatoon.
Well, they're targeting what, YouTubers, right?
Yeah,
YouTubers
they went after, well, actually, they went after these guys known as the Joy-Con boys.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Oh no!
They got a cease and desist.
Okay.
So we can't.
So hold up.
Please.
We can't not. No, we can't not. Here's the thing. So for those of you who are aware of a person by the name of Etika, was a very, very prominent person in the Smash community, in the gamer community, just was known by a lot of people. Was going through some incredibly difficult mental health troubles, and ended up taking his own life. What recently happened was some people who were, I guess, the creators of his
they're like his fanboys. They call themselves the Joy-Con boys.
The Joy-Con boys. Right. They made these things called Etikons, and they were I don't even remember the rest of this story, but it's so sad.
Oh, I got it. It's depressed. It's horrible. But they were creating what you said, Etikons, which were basically Joy-Cons with custom skins. Yeah. And they were reselling them, and all of the proceeds were going to a charity called NAMI.
That's right.
Which is America's largest grassroots org for people with mental illness. They sent a cease and desist to that guy, or to the people who were creating those. And it is like, that to me was the biggest punch in the stomach to the scene.
Yeah.
Like, that's a beloved community figure and group. Like, it's
doing good for another community.
And then the best part is it's not like they were illegally getting these Joy-Cons or something. They were buying the Joy-Cons straight from the Nintendo website. So they were getting the Joy-Cons, remodding them, whatever, and then sending them out.
Right.
And
not even reselling.
Not literally, just flipping them.
Yeah.
And Nintendo stopped it. And the best part was they used the excuse of, oh, well, you can't call them Joy-Cons or something like that. Or because you have the word
so it
Joy-Con.
can't say Joy-Cons on it or something. And
like that's really like if you really cared that much about the name of your stuff, why wouldn't you just contact them and be like, hey, change the name of your product, we'll give a direct link on the site. But like something like that, just work with them as opposed to just straight cutting them down in a situation that not only doesn't call for it, but there are like I could go on Amazon right now and buy 20 different modded controllers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Why was this the one they went after? You know what I mean? Like
It feels like they're directly coming for the community, like they're trying to break it up or
it feels
let the
like
game
they're
die
going
or
for
something.
the soul. As
Yeah.
weird as that sounds, it sounds like they're trying to kill the Smash's soul because they're not going to let you memorialize people who matter to you. They're not going to let you enjoy the content you've been enjoying since you were a kid. Like in my case, Smash came out when I was 13, or Melee came out when I was 13. Dude, I literally turned 30 on Monday, and that game is still going. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's really disheartening as a fan because I feel it with Smash, and I also feel it with Pokemon, which in itself is like I know, Mike. Me and you could just sit here and cry about it for days.
Mm-hmm.
From where the game should be right now to what it is, it just hurts. You know,
Yes, very
Definitely.
much.
it just feels like there's no more love from from the developers on Nintendo. Like Sakurai himself, you look at Ultimate, like we got the Sephiroth release today.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 3-minute trailer. I watched it 45 times. It was amazing.
Mhm.
All I want to do is support Smash. But when you have, like, all I want to do is support Sakurai, I think is the way I want to put it.
That's it.
Because he has done amazing things for decades. And he's always had Big Brother kind of pushing down on his neck. And he's trapped at this point.
Nintendo never intended for Super Smash Brothers to be a competitive game. They always wanted it to be a living room, just like hey, let's pick up some controllers and play with whoever's here, over at my place.
Mm-hmm.
And it really sucks that as it developed into a competitive game that they don't even want it to be. They want it to stay the way that they intended it, and they're not allowing it to grow or, reach different types of fans.
I think it's just indicative of they don't want, like you said, they don't want competitive in any aspect. So
Nintendo's
by
fun.
giving terrible online, like if their online was free, that would be different. But the fact that it's a paid service and it's as atrocious as it is, it's ridiculous. They don't care, and they just keep raking in the money because they're Nintendo. They're never going to have an issue selling games. I mean, I bought Hyrule Warriors like a day before the free Melee thing, and I was like, I feel like I let my community down.
I feel like I need to return this.
Yeah, like I genuinely considered it.
Yeah.
It's so hard to support someone, but they've been a part of my life since I was 4.
Right.
You know what I mean? I started on the Duck Hunt Mario Split cartridge.
Yeah.
It's like an abusive relationship.
It
It's
is.
like you love them, but they keep hitting you. And
but the problem is the last week or so has been the worst it's ever been. Like Nintendo has a history of trying to shut down Melee and Smash 4 events and even Project M. Project M died because Nintendo lied.
Yeah.
That the entire game died solely because Nintendo promised to do Melee and Smash 4 circuits if you stop doing Project Melee.
Yeah.
Or Project M, excuse me.
Project M. Yeah.
And everyone was like, okay, no problem. I mean, at that point, they're so starved for Nintendo to be there. Of course, they're willing to ditch a small modded game in the community. It sucked for that community, but dude, we're getting the Smash circuit. We're finally going to get Smash as a legitimate esport. And
I was so excited when I heard that news too. It was going to be a global circuit. It was like $100,000 or something like that. It was like an incredible amount of money, and it was
when Twitch and Red Bull started one.
Oh,
that was in 2015, I believe it was 2014 and 2015. That Red Bull started a circuit that was similar to the Proving Grounds that they had at that point.
Right.
And it was this big, massive, right across North America. It was a whole circuit, this and that, leading up to a massive event. I can't remember where it would end, or maybe just Red Bull's throwing a big event, regardless. But pretty much it was between them, Twitch, and Nintendo that they were all working this out. Red Bull was going to front millions of dollars for this circuit. When I say they were putting out every single dollar to run this, all they needed from Nintendo was a yes. And Nintendo was going to own the circuit. So they were going to pay nothing and have full ownership of the circuit.
Jeez.
They were going to have all the rights, this and that. Everything belonged to Nintendo. Red Bull just needed the okay.
Let us do this.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe it was 2015, they got a written contract saying this is going to happen. Or Twitch got a written contract, said this was going to happen. And then they went silent, this and that. You don't hear anything. And then it was this big, they started massive negotiations in 2015. I apologize. And in 2018, they signed the contract.
It took 3 years.
3 years to negotiate that
3
circuit.
years.
Which for getting a game into any event, let alone a circuit, takes maybe a few months. 6 months to get a game into a circuit or into any event is stupid long time. Like that means every possible thing that could go wrong is. 3 years is someone doesn't want it to happen.
Right. So what ended up happening with that? They got the okay.
In 2018, when they were like, "Hey, yeah, we're definitely going to start this," they go quiet. Boom, they announce Ultimate.
Right, that's what happened.
They dropped the big thing about Ultimate, and then they came back to Twitch and said, "Well, we don't see the point in doing a circuit for Smash 4 or Melee. We want to see how Ultimate does first."
Yeah,
and that's where we are. So
it's just been the bait and switch. They really just
multiple times.
Yeah.
And it's because of this that you see all of these Smash inspired games. Like this is why in essence this is why Brawlhalla exists. In essence,
Brawlhalla has some crazy mashups too. So I saw like Raymond in there. I saw some other characters.
WWE is in there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Now
it's ridiculous.
Now they're working on the people who made Smash Flash are making Framemakers. And that's going to be another massive collaborative Smash-like game. It's spurred on its own genre because there are people dropping the ball.
That's what it feels like.
Angle.
Yeah.
But it's not like they haven't had the opportunity. That's what drives me crazy the most.
Exactly. People are like, we love your game. And to that point, like 3 hours ago, when we saw the Sephiroth trailer, we're like, yes, amazing. Great job.
I couldn't wait.
They're killing it.
They said December 2020. I was desperate for December 31st because that means I have Sephiroth.
Yes.
But it just hurts, man. I don't know. It just hurts to know that Nintendo doesn't care about any of its fans in any capacity. And
the community, the fans they're fighting back now, right?
Yes.
So led by Ludwig.
Well, yeah, he's starting a whole Melee charity tournament specifically on Slippy just to spite Nintendo.
I love that. Just like I'm
all for it. You know what? I'm all just sticking it to them because they don't why won't they help us? Why won't they fix the online? Like they could fix online, sell Melee for $20, make millions of dollars because I would probably buy it even though I wouldn't even play it. Just because, in case someone wants to play Melee, I got it. It's just, there are so many easy workarounds that they just obviously don't care to do. And as a longtime fan, it sucks.
I don't feel like it's them not caring to do it. I feel like it's them systematically trying to dismantle Melee as an esport. You know, like that's how I feel about it. Or like it's not like oops, we forgot this, or like, oh, I guess we should have done that. Like it feels intentional.
Oh yeah.
And it just sucks. So the people are pissed and led by Ludwig. It's what's the tournament called? It's a charity tournament called LACS 3. Yeah. And they've raised from the last reports $42,000 for charity already.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That was like
huge.
2 weeks ago was the last drop of how much the prize or the charity has kind of grown to. LACS, of course, standing for Ludwig Ogren Championship Series, this being the third. And again, just entirely off of Slippy.
Intentionally, purposefully,
Intentionally.
flauntingly.
And he's just very, very unapologetic about it, and I love that. It's such he's being such a champion about it. The most recent one where he talked about the amount that he's raised or that they've raised says, and I quote, "We have raised $42,000 for the upcoming LACS3 charity edition, and if Nintendo CDs me, we'll announce one for the next month, and the month after that, and the month after that, until I draw my last effing breath. Hashtag savesmash." Thank you.
I love
Thank you.
The community is really rallying. Like I'm seeing tweets like, "Hey, content creators, if I see you creating a piece of content without bringing up free Smash, you're dead to me." Stuff like that. Like it's just
that sounds like the Melee community.
Yeah.
Everyone is spreading
reaction
this.
to the Sephiroth trailer without that now was like, oh no.
Yeah. Conformist.
You're not with us, huh?
Yeah, it feels like a "you're with us or you're against us" type scenario.
Except there's like
now.
nobody against us. Like we don't feel like there are people on Nintendo's side for this one, right?
Oh, you say that. You say that.
There's enough. There's a few of them that'll be like, well, it's their IP. They can do whatever they want. You are correct.
Yeah.
But
100%.
that IP has also touched millions of lives and has significantly impacted a lot of those.
Yeah.
There are people like, example, HBox. His stream, he just hit like 7,100 subs. He plays mostly Ultimate now, but he came from Melee. He still goes back to play Melee all the time. Like he obviously plays on Slippy because he can't play offline by himself. No one's gonna watch him play against a level 9 computer. So it's sorry.
I'd watch Hungrybox play against a level 9 computer.
3 level 9 computers. Ooh. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it just hurts.
It's an incredible thing, and like you're right. It's touched so many people, and it really again just sucks how much that Nintendo wants esports in Smash to go away.
Yeah,
and I'll never understand it. I will never understand the thought process, but
yeah. Nintendo, it'll happen eventually. We all know that it'll happen eventually. It sucks that this is what it has come to because they're pushing back so hard. And hopefully that would be the last push, but we're also scared that it might not be. I say that Nintendo will because they've had a history of being a couple years behind in their mentality. Way back in early YouTube, they were doing the exact same thing. They were taking down any video with their content. Eventually they were like, okay, we created the Nintendo network where if you sign on with our stuff and give us 90% of your revenue, then you'll be able to post our content. Or I don't think it was 90%. Maybe I'm being facetious there, but it was some exorbitant amount for sure. Anyway, and so the fact that it took Nintendo creating a thing for themselves to be like, all right, we'll still hold the IP if we can control what kind of content you produce of ours. People were super upset about that. And eventually there was enough outrage for Nintendo to just be like, all right, forget it. Forget this Nintendo partner program. Just make your content, put it on YouTube. If it's too much, then we'll say something. And then people backed off and they were like, okay, that's a good
we've
Nintendo.
seen
Good boy.
We've seen multiple times in the past with Evo and with YouTube there that like with enough pushback that they will let it go. They'll be like, hey, okay, you guys win,
right? Like just they'll let it happen, like, or it's not even like they'll embrace it. I wish it was they would embrace it.
I didn't say embrace. I said they'll let it slide, or they'll let it go. They'll let it slide, and like they'll just maybe they'll look for a different way to come at the community.
I'm sure they'll find it.
Yeah. How dare you try and make a hologram while playing a Mario game?
Oh my god! Could you imagine hologram like Smash 64 or something?
Ooh.
I'd be so happy.
Oh, Smash 64 is my jam, though.
Did you see the remix? They have like the fan made remix where they just add in a bunch of characters as they go.
Oh wow,
Like-
that's incredible.
Yeah, and you have like Ganondorf and Bowser in Smash 64. They just added the Mad Piano from Super Mario 64.
What?
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
legitimately from Busse
What?
Mansion. It's an entire move set. It's just a piano. Amazing.
Ridiculous.
But,
Holy crap.
As silly, amazing things like that happen because you like fans, because people love what you gave us. This is like, we create so much from it. Like, art begets more art is what I've always said.
Yeah.
It's just, you will always inspire more people with your art one way or another. And games are art, despite what some people like to believe.
Yeah.
And this Nintendo doesn't want us to appreciate it unless it's on their terms,
Right.
which is
Right.
nah.
So here's bringing up a little bit of a hot take though. Like, I love how the community like really came together and rallied, and like you can see the unity with the community, with the free melee and safe smash movements. But like a few months ago, when all of the allegations were coming out and all of the harassment cases and everything like that, just it feels like the community was a lot more divided then, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it sucks to see that like they can come together, but they didn't come together for that, which seems like it was, so much almost more important.
I think that one was, there was a lot of support. It like a lot more than I think you kind of implied, because a lot of it, a lot of what you saw at the top of Twitter were the people who got likes, so that way you could see what a terrible garbage person they are. So it'd be like, oh, Zero didn't do this. He's my favorite streamer. He never did this. You're all stupid. Don't believe girls, blah, blah, blah. It's just, what? No, we don't listen to the 12-year-olds who are angry, like, because they have to go to bed at 9:00. Like,
right.
The people that, like, the actual influencers, the people with genuine hearts, I guess you would say, or some degree of a conscience, were like, no, get these people out of here. At one point, I felt like the community was getting a little too zealous, because they're like, who else can we bring to the fire as fast as humanly possible?
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
okay, guys, whoa.
Yeah.
Let's not light down. Let's all right.
Not a lynch mob here.
Like not everyone needs to be thrown up onto the stake here. I'm all for it. Like, let's get rid of all the terrible people, like,
right.
Exactly.
But at the same time, there are some things that we can't just be throwing our, pitchforks and torches at them.
Correct.
And I felt like that actually got more attention than the positivity the community was showing. Like, you saw a lot more of the rage and the hate, whether it was because they, your favorite guy was getting attacked. You wanted to attack this guy because you never liked him, or you liked him and now he's being accused, whatever it was.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I feel like a lot of it got drowned out, a lot of the good intentions, a lot of the good feelings that people were trying to give,
Right.
And but the problem is that's just social media. The good always gets drowned out in social media.
Yeah.
No one cares about that.
It's the outrageous that, always
outrageous,
sticks out.
Exactly.
And yeah. I mean, you may be right. Maybe those like minority of voices got really sort of blown up and sort of came up to the front, up to the top. But still, okay, so where does Smash go from here? You know what I mean? Like, it feels like a lot of the, sorry, not Smash, but Melee in particular, it feels like a lot of the top players have dropped out. There was allegations against them or whatever. They're no longer in the scene. And then you have Nintendo sort of like fighting from the publisher side for whatever reason. And it feels like it's just killing Melee. Like, what is going to save Melee? There's a question for you guys, if you guys have any sort of semblance of an answer.
Yeah, really.
Honestly, I don't think anyone has the answer right now.
No.
The problem, like, the only one who I can guess has an answer is Ludwig. And his answer is a bold-faced, no. I'm going to do this. Bring it. Because the problem is, there's not much else they can do at this point. Right. There's nowhere to host LANs. There's no online tournaments being allowed.
Mm-hmm.
You have to fight the system at some point, or else if they don't, the game dies.
Yep.
here and now. Like, it won't make it out of 2021. And I get that there's 20 days left, but as it doesn't look good for Melee. It genuinely doesn't.
I'll play a little bit more devil's advocate. Why can't all the Melee players sort of switch over to Ultimate?
Different game.
Wildly.
Different game. Apples
There's a
and
reason
oranges.
that game has been going for 17 years versus Brawl, Smash 4.
Yep. 64.
Even
yeah,
64,
but you
like,
saw somebody like HBox who was like absolutely like one of the top in the world in that game make the switch, right? And he's now getting into Ultimate. Don't you feel like it's just sort of, get with the times and like this is where it's going now, and if you want to be able to play, then let's play on here.
You could say that, but I like to point to games like StarCraft. How is that one of the number one esports in the world? And it's like, what was it made? 1826? Like, that game is ancient, right? But it's not about how old the game is or what number the game is in the series. If that's the game that everyone loves, that's the game that everyone loves.
Yeah.
There's not much else to it. Ultimate is a wildly different game from Melee. Wildly. It's both Smash, but Ultimate was built off of Brawl. Brawl is completely different game from Melee. So much so that they had to make a fan-made mod of Brawl to be like Melee so the communities wouldn't kill each other.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of Smash 4.
Nobody was. I mean, I love Brawl. Don't get me wrong. It was just the next Smash I was thrilled. But like, it just because a game is old doesn't mean you need to like you said, can get with the times. Hungrybox, one of the 5 gods of Melee, is not even top 250 in the world, top 500 in the world in Ultimate.
That's true.
That's the other problem, is just because you were a god in this game does not mean you're a god in this game.
Doesn't translate entirely.
It's a very, very different game while being the same game. It's a very bizarre way to explain it. It's a very unique game in the entire series.
Mm-hmm.
It was it's the standalone. Really, it is.
I agree. The other games are more like each other than Melee, for sure. You're absolutely right. I think they really moved away from what it was and, really went a little bit more fun and easy with it. It's not as technical. The later editions in the series are not as technical as Melee. It's just Melee is a never-ending practice pit, grind pit. There's so much to know.
Yeah.
What's crazy about it is how, because the game's been out for as long as it has, is the reason why the game is as mechanically inclined as it is. They've had so much time to develop these tiny, very minute details of the game that by doing this, they create new tech and they're creating new stuff for the next generation to learn. Mm-hmm. If you showed somebody who's in the first 5 years what the tech looks like now, you'd blow their mind.
Yeah.
There was like one guy who was like 5 years ahead of the game. Like, he was wave dashing before people even knew how to dodge. But other than that, nothing. Nobody would have come close to coming up to some of the tech that we have. And it's just, when the game was allowed to develop in such a crazy mechanical way that we are where we are with it. And to do that to a game with a committed fan base that is old as it is, with just as much love in the scene as it is, it's not right.
No, absolutely not. And I think with that, that's the note that we're going to leave on today. Justin, tell the people where they can find you.
Well, at the moment, before the social media changes, because there are big changes in the future. Right now, you can find me at The Real JCor. For that is Twitch and Twitter right now, but those will probably be different soon enough.
Alex, where can people find you?
You can find me right here on Best3, or you can find me on Twitter at KrispyKim, and that's with Crispy with a K. So,
and then you can find me anywhere you find your people at StillJustMike, Instagram, Twitter, what have you. You can find Best3 wherever you get your podcasts, or on the Game Plus Network. Folks, I want to thank you very much for joining us today. I want to thank Justin for joining us today. You're an amazing person, and I love hearing you talk about Smash and everything else.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a blast.
Hashtag free Melee. Hashtag save smash.
Hashtag free
Till the end,
Splatoon.
baby.
Till the end.
Thought you were gonna hold your arm up the whole episode, Justin.
I did. You just weren't paying attention. Free melee.
We'll see you next